لورن لودرل: انگلستان می تواند بر اساس قانون عدالت کیفری 1988 در رابطه با جرم شکنجه صلاحیت جهانی را اعمال کند و این یک مورد برای اعمال شکنجه است که در سال 1367 یا پس از آن در رژیم ایران انجام شده است. هیچ چشماندازی برای عدالت در داخل رژیم ایران وجود ندارد. بنابراین ما باید به جامعه بین المللی مراجعه کنیم تا از پاسخگویی در قبال قربانیان و خانواده‌های آنها اطمینان حاصل کنیم. یکی از گزینه‌های انجام این کار اعمال صلاحیت جهانی است.
Thank you very much for the kind invitation. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure in particular to be here with you, Madam Rajavi. As we've heard this evening, and as Madam Rajavi has highlighted, Iranian authorities over the past years have committed a litany of crimes under international law. The purpose being to eradicate any challenge to their iron grip on power. The UN Special Rapporteur on the situation on human rights in Iran has warned the Human Rights Council earlier this year that the scale and gravity of violations committed by Iranian authorities pointed to the possible commission of international crimes, notably the crimes against humanity of murder, imprisonment, enforced disappearances, torture, rape, and sexual violence and persecution. In particular, we've witnessed an intensified crackdown on women. And this is in response to the remarkable leadership and active involvement of women in the ongoing uprising. But because of that, the regime has adopted a new bill, which brings with it a series of punitive measures directed at women and girls who fail to wear the hijab.
It's quite right. We need to ring the bell on the urgent matters in Iran.
So with respect to this bill, a number of UN experts have expressed serious concern, and they've gone so far as to describe the bill as a form of gender apartheid. Now, the term isn't being used lightly or for sensationalist purpose, but it reflects a troubling reality where authorities appear to be deliberately employing discriminatory practices with the explicit aim of subjugating women and girls into a total submission.
Just last week, Amnesty International released a comprehensive report, 120 pages, that cast a spotlight on the egregious use of rape and other forms of sexual violence as tools of torture, intimidation, and punishment against peaceful protesters.
What's equally alarming in the report is that it reveals that prosecutors and judges, who should be guardian of justice, have been complicit by either ignoring or actively covering up survivors' complaints. And so far, Amnesty has said that no officials have been prosecuted for the instances of rape and other sexual violence documented in their report. However, as we've heard today, there are no perspective for justice domestically. And so we need to turn to the international community to ensure there is accountability for the victims and their families. One option to do so, which has been mentioned by Baroness earlier, is the exercise of universal jurisdiction. However, in the meantime, insofar as Iran is concerned, the UK can also exercise universal jurisdiction under the Criminal Justice Act of 1988 with respect to the crime of torture. And this is a case for acts of torture committed in or after 1988. And the jurisdictional reach of that act is much broader, since it doesn't require individuals to be residents or national in the UK. It's enough for them to be merely present on UK territory. So the UK can work and can exercise universal jurisdiction to bring accountability and to bring justice for victims. The UK is home to a vibrant and engaged Iranian diaspora, and there's also a number of Iranian supporters here. And therefore, the UK can leverage this community's involvement to play a crucial role in exercising universal jurisdiction and bringing about successful prosecution. This can happen, for example, by enhancing dialogue and collaboration with credible NGOs and survivors to identify and effectively prosecute potential suspects, to identify evidence. In conclusion, given the situation in Iran, we see that national investigations, arrests, and trials in third-party countries are one of the few meaningful chances for survivors of international crimes and their families in Iran to obtain justice. And therefore, if the United Kingdom and the UK government are truly committed to holding the Iranian regime accountable, it should fully exploit the potential of universal jurisdiction. Thank you.
پروفسور سارا چندلر: در ایران اوامر رژیم باید به دلیل انجام جنایات تحت قوانین بین المللی که برنامه مقاومت ایران به طور ماهرانه آن را پوشش داده است تحت تعقیب قرار گیرند.
Thank you very much, Madam Rajabi and friends and honourable members and everyone who is here tonight. It is an honour to be addressing you. Thank you so much for the invitation. And thank you for that presentation on universal jurisdiction. It really gives us important pointers. I'm going to talk a little bit about activism within the international legal community. I am a member of the Law Society of England and Wales and been active in human rights for a number of years. And I am Secretary of the Human Rights Commission of the Federation of European Bar Associations, which we have always been very committed to joining the community in Paris every year for the Great Rally. And I'm going to speak a little bit about the pointers in the Amnesty International report. I'm not going to go through the different recommendations as such, but to say they are about combating impunity, looking for an independent and impartial judiciary, that we should ensure the suspension and prevent the appointment of human rights violators to public positions. We should guarantee autonomy and fairness from the public prosecutors, and we should incorporate genocide, crimes against humanity, and others, torture, rape, into the penal code. We're talking about the future because the regime will not do this. But it is uppermost in our minds when we are actively campaigning for change. And there should be independent investigations into rape, sexual violence, torture by the intelligence and security forces. And of course, the importance of ratifying the Rome Statute and accepting the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. Every year, the international legal community holds a day of action on the 24th of January, known as the Day of the Endangered Lawyer. On the 24th of January 2024, the country chosen is Iran, and the lawyers will be demonstrating not just in this country, but all over the world where they support human rights and lawyers at risk. I shall stand alongside you and the people of Iran in this struggle for freedom and a just and democratic future as long as you need me. Thank you very much for your attention.